This segment is sponsored by Long Roofing. Long Roofing is a prominent leader in home improvement throughout the East Coast that has helped hundreds of thousands of families enjoy safer and more beautiful homes.
So joining us today is Katie DePaula, a fourth-generation member of the Long family, and Josh Clark, who is a roofing product specialist with the company as well. Welcome to both of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
We talk about roof. We know it's an essential part, obviously, of our home. What do we need to look for? How do we know if we need a new roof?
Yeah, it's so interesting and such a great question. Most people think that something big is going to happen, a big event like a waterfall coming from their ceiling, but usually that's not the case, right? There's smaller indicators that there's a much bigger problem going on.
Yeah, thankfully you can check a lot of these things out from the ground level of your house. If you just take a step outside and you actually just look up at your roof, you can see a couple of things that will really indicate some signs of a new roof needed. That will be missing shingles, curling shingles, we'll call them tenting shingles. They look like mouths on your roof. And so those are big indicators. And then also you can look at the bottom of your downspouts. There's usually sand and grit at the bottom of your gutter system. That's signs that your roof is actually shedding away. Those are granules.
Jeez. That makes sense though.
Yes, so that could be a sign of the aging of your roof.
Yeah. Are there any indicators inside your home that something might be wrong?
Yeah, that's a great question because most people think they can only see what's going on with their roof from the outside. And then we're like, oh, I have to get up on the roof, and most people don't want to do that. I certainly don't want to do that. Inside your home, there are a few things. One is small leaks. So you might see a little bit of staining, a tiny leak on the ceiling and think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You might ignore it. Don't do that, right? It's an indicator that there is a much bigger problem. You want to have someone come out and inspect it. The other thing that you might not think about is a musty smell. So if you're walking through your home and you smell a different smell and it smells a little off, that could be an indicator that something's going on. And really the answer lies in your attic.
Right. So yeah, other than the external things you can find, the things in the attic tell the whole story. So this is where you can find the actual places where the leaks are occurring. You can find indicators of rotten wood. You can actually see if your nails are condensating in your attic, which is a sign of inadequate ventilation, which is a problem for roofing. It prematurely ages it. And so all of these indicators, if you have condensation or the smells, like Katie said, is it can break down the insulation in your attic, which makes your home less efficient, and then also can be a breeding ground for toxic mold and mildew. So it's really important that attic inspection is important as well.
So some people feel comfortable going up in their attic. I don't want to go in my attic either, right? But that's why Long Roofing is here. We can come, do all that, figure out what's really going on, get to the bottom of it.
What do you look for if you see some of these things and you say, okay, I need a contractor? What should you be looking for in that roofing contractor?
Yeah, you want to find a company that you can trust, right? So obviously we talk to friends, we go online, we read reviews. You can get a lot of great information there. You want to find a company that's been around. It's one thing to offer these warranties, have a 50-year warranty, for example. It's a whole nother thing to have actually been around for almost 80 years and know you're going to be able to service these warranties.
And why sometimes is it like a higher price doesn't necessarily mean higher quality?
Your roof's going to be on your home for a very long time,
Right.
So some of these shingles that are made these days can last up to 50 years. So when you're really thinking about the investment that you're making today, you need to think about those 50 years, right? Are you going to be making this purchase again? Are you going to be having to do repairs on this? Will a company be around to service you? So a lot of these things can factor into what you invest today in your roof and what happens many years from now.
Is it always a repair project, or do sometimes you go out and look and you're like, maybe you just need to replace? Like, how do you know the difference? Is it usually replace the whole roof?
Well, we don't do repairs. When we go out, we replace the whole roof, right?
Okay.
And so we want to make sure that the job is done from start to finish the way that we want it done. There's a lot of technicalities that go into a roof that people don't even think about or understand. Most people know that shingles exist. And some companies will use shingles that you can literally tear apart like a piece of paper. That's not a good sign.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. That's not what you want. You want a material that is going to stand the test of time, like Josh said. And we also go through a really particular installation process. We treat every customer's home as if it were our own. That's part of our how we operate as a company. So you want to tell us a little bit more about the technical aspect of how we do our projects?
Sure. So while there is professional practice for these things, there's no roofing police, right? No one comes and makes sure that things were done correctly or that anything was put in a certain area. It really is homeowner beware. So we just take a couple different methods. First of all is to do it exactly the way the manufacturer says to do it. And then beyond that, we do some additional practices that include waterproofing the most vulnerable areas of the roof, making the edge and the perimeter of the roof watertight, and just any special requirements that your home might require.
And then why is replacing the best way to go? Like, you can't just repair a certain leak that you see in the roof. I'm guessing it's probably a small part of a bigger problem at that point.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a
Yeah.
bigger wound, yes. Once you start repairing your roof and start patching it, it's just a matter of time before that's either going to need to be done again or replacement's inevitable. So a lot of times it's better to just take care of it.
It's inevitable.
Katie, I feel like you've given us some examples of this already, but what is the long way? Like, what are the standards?
Yeah, so the long way is really, we actually like to break it out. So it's legacy. We have, you know, this strong legacy that we're going to show up. We're going to be there for you through, you know, through
The entire process, really.
Yeah, through the entire process. We're going to give you the best offer. So like you said earlier, highest quality doesn't have to mean highest price. We want to make sure that you have quality from start to finish, but we're not going to cut corners in the process, right? So that's really important to us. The name, you want to have a company that has a reputation, and then the guarantee and the warranty is so important too.
Yeah.
Such great
makes
information. Thank you both so
Yes,
much.
thank
We
you.
learned a lot in this one for
Yes,
sure.
we did.
Thank you for having us.
And for more on Long Roofing, you can always go to longroofing.com or you can call 800-492-LONG.